Do you know what I wish?
What do you wish?
I wish I was the kind of man who would buy $80 sunglasses without blinking.
Oh man, hey, those glasses are dope as fuck.
Coach Prime, his sunglasses are going to go on sale in like a few weeks. And I looked at it after a few glasses of whiskey a couple nights ago, and I was like, "Ooh, I would fucking dig these fucking sunglasses." And I got all the way to the final cart, and that shit was like $82 with shipping. I'm like, if my wife didn't kill me before for buying shoes and whatnot,
I'll still
I
cut
think
your
the
dick off now.
I think the $80 sunglasses, yeah, she would cut it off and throw it into the woods like Lorena Bobbitt. So I decided against my better judgment, actually probably my worst judgment, to not get those sunglasses. But I fucking love those. I'm wearing that shit to work. I don't care. Like, they're so dope.
Did your mother
That,
ever tell you to take your hat and sunglasses off?
I'm so glad you brought that up because that was next on my list. Yes, Colorado had another game, another big rivalry game against their hated Cross City Colorado State Rams.
Mm.
And the Rams and their head coach, Jay Norvell, took a shot at Coach Prime. And yes, as Ryan just said, he mentioned.
And I sat down with ESPN today, and I don't care if they hear it in Boulder. I told them I took my hat off and I took my glasses off, and I said, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me. So,
coaches,
Why?
head
Why?
coaches, y'all have got to stop testing this man. That is now what? Three in a row that
In
y'all
3
had
weeks.
said some shit about him or his team or something, and Colorado ends up making you eat those fucking words. Colorado and Colorado State went back and forth in a crazy fucking game, which, in all intents and purposes, Colorado State looked like they were about to take this one from Colorado and put a kibosh on the hype train that is the Colorado Buffaloes. It didn't work out like that, actually. So this ended up being a very late fucking game, double overtime.
Yes, sir.
And it was fireworks from the beginning, too. Even Shiloh Sanders, first thing out the gate is an 80-yard pick six. And it was I believe, a pick at the end of, around double overtime to seal the win for Colorado coming back and winning this game 43-35. What are your thoughts on this game, sir?
First and foremost, Shiloh Sanders, that's the MVP of the game. He not only had that pick six, but what that pick six did to the entire team should not get overlooked. Because he did that during a time when the offense was struggling. They couldn't move the ball. And later on, he had a forced fumble.
Yep, that's true.
So he was just making plays all day from that safety spot. And I think he really ignited the team and lifted their energy up to eventually get this win. Colorado can play in any game script. What did they need? They needed their defense to come up big again. They needed their defense to stall until their offense can find some rhythm to get going, and then it's all systems go. Travis Hunter went out with an injury.
Yeah, we can get into that.
You know me. I'm always for players that play on that line, on that gray line.
Yep.
But this was uncalled for.
It really was.
Like, the ball already hit the ground. Whistle was already blown. There's no reason why you should be playing that play anymore. You should be walking to the huddle. What's the next play? Now, as a coach, did you condone it? Did you allow it? Did you coach it? Because when it happened, you weren't looking to discipline your player.
It was pretty calm on that side of the line there.
The entire sideline, even Blackburn himself,
just kind of walked off.
Phased at all, and he didn't get ejected. So imagine if a quarterback got hit like that.
Oh, there'd be a whole fucking fight.
Exactly. And guess what would happen? Oh, you hit the quarterback. You're ejected. Colorado lost arguably their best player on offense and defense. So they technically lost two players.
He lacerated his liver. And yeah, that was a pretty fucking ridiculous hit. Now, that being said, I do want to address that for a second because since that game, Henry Blackburn started getting death threats. The death threats are a little ridiculous, guys.
Out for 3 weeks, 2 to
Yeah.
3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks, and that's about it.
But in college football, that's a lot.
It
'Cause
is.
If you lose
yeah.
one game, remember, college football playoffs is only 4 teams.
Which, for some fucking reason, I can't wait till they fix that shit. But
Yep.
you're absolutely right. I know every win counts in college football. But damn, dude.
I was gonna talk about Shador, but I feel like we talk about him enough, and I think people already know
get
what he
it.
did. Clutch as fuck, 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and overtime combined, and a 2-point conversion. Whatever. We already know what Shador is.
Absolutely.
But Coach Prime, I want to highlight his actual coaching for a second.
Mm.
So he did a few things that I thought were brilliant and why he is who he is. So first thing he did, his starting kicker, Feely, missed a field goal. He benched him for the backup kicker.
Good.
This backup kicker has been with Coach Prime since Jackson State.
Yep.
Alejandro Mata. And what does he do? He nails 2 field goals. Smart move by Prime. Coach Prime had the opportunity to go for the 4th down at the time because it was 4th and short or 4th and in territory, right? So you want to go to 6. But he was smart. He said, let me take my points. He did it twice. And, eventually they tie the game and go in overtime. Cool. Now, what does Coach Prime do in overtime? He says, he wins the toss and he says, we want the ball. In college, you never do that. You always defer in college because you want to know how many points you need.
That's right.
Because remember, you always get a shot to score against your opponent in overtime in college football. It's not like the NFL.
Correct.
So if your opponent scores a touchdown, you have the opportunity to go back and score another touchdown.
Right.
He says, no, I want to put the ball in Shador's hands because I know what my son's going to do with the ball. And I want to put the pressure on Colorado State to make sure they know how many points they need. And they need 8. And the fact that he went for 2 in overtime, when he didn't need to, he could have just went for 1.
Ballsy.
He wanted to secure the dub.
Love it.
He coaches to win. And that's why he is who he is. One more quick point. They were getting killed all day by drags and shallow crossers. I don't know what the fuck was going on with them. I don't know what was happening. They were in man coverage a lot of the game. I don't know why they just didn't go in like a match zone, so maybe like a cover 4 or
right.
Maybe in like a cover 3. Something where you have flats out there and where you can match coverage. Because Torrey Horton, oh my goodness.
That was my other point. I want to shout out Torrey Horton.
There we go. Go ahead.
Yes.
I threw you the oop. Go ahead.
Torrey Horton from Colorado State was untouchable. I was floored. And trust me, folks, I don't know shit about Colorado State or barely half these fucking college teams. But I was watching Horton the whole fucking game, and Horton, here's a who, motherfucker. He was lights out. And I'll read that shit. He also had a passing touchdown. That's amazing. But then on top of that, 16 receptions, 133 yards, and a receiving touchdown. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, if he had hit 200 yards, I wouldn't be surprised because the routes he was running were unbeatable.
All shallow crossers.
The announcers were like, what the fuck? Like, how can you not stop this guy? He is amazing. And I really hope that his profile from the NFL and his future career got boosted from this game. I hope they look back at this game. I think so.
Did.
He made himself some money on that night, which was fucking crazy.
He has a good NFL receiver body.
Absolutely.
He's like 6'2", not skinny but not big, like AJ Brown.
190. Yes, I'm glad we were aligned on that one because I was like, who is this kid? Because man, he put on a fucking show. And
NFL
honestly,
wide receiver.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Colorado and again Shador Sanders just being a magician again, like we talk about, but like if Colorado State ended up winning this one, this was all Horton. Like, man, he was playing to win. I respect it. Salute to Torrey Horton.
Salute to him. Certified baller. Hope to see you in the league one day.
I hope so. We'll remember that fucking game, man.
1, 2, 3.